High Admiral Take of the Galactic Confederation stared at the holographic display with mounting frustration. The red marker representing Sol 3 seemed to mock him as he reviewed the data once again. His four-fingered hand tightened around the edge of the command console, the blue scales on his knuckles turning pale with pressure. 17 expeditions, he muttered to his second-in-command, Commander June. 17 separate species sent invasion fleets to this backwater planet, and not one has returned or even transmitted after entering the system. The command center hummed with quiet activity as crew members moved between stations, their footsteps hushed against the polished floor. Overhead, the massive dome displayed a real-time map of known space, with countless stars and systems mapped in perfect detail. Yet that single red dot, Earth, remained stubbornly enigmatic. Commander June ran a hand through his short silver crest of hair, a nervous habit he'd developed during their 30 cycles of service together. The intelligence reports still classify the inhabitants as pre-FTL. These humans shouldn't have the capability to defeat even one of our member species, let alone 17. "Show me the timeline again," Tyke ordered, and the holographic display shifted to reveal a chronological record of disappearances. First came the Vordak scout ships, nearly 80 cycles ago, simple reconnaissance vessels that should have easily avoided detection by primitive radar systems. Next were the chiral hunters, whose stealth technology was legendary across 3 spiral arms. Then the massive Antaru hive ships, each carrying enough firepower to glass half a continent, all gone without a trace. "What if it's not the humans?" suggested Intelligence Officer Bin, stepping forward from her monitoring station. Her compound eyes reflected the shifting light of the display. "Perhaps another species has claimed Sol 3 as protected territory." Tyke clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "We've considered that. Probe scans show no evidence of advanced defensive systems in orbit. No artificial gravity distortions, no quantum barriers, nothing that suggests outside intervention." The door to the command center slid open with a soft hiss as Fleet Strategist Quan entered, carrying a data crystal containing the latest Council directives. His ceremonial armor, marking him as a veteran of the Rigel campaigns, gleamed under the ambient lighting. "The Council's final decision?" Tyke asked, already knowing the answer. Quan inserted the crystal into the central console. "Authorized in full. An unprecedented coalition fleet. 30 species, one mission, not to conquer, but to discover what happens to those who attack Earth." The holographic display expanded, showing the gathering armada. Sleek Talon cruisers with their distinctive, curved hulls bristling with sensor arrays. Boxy Morrigan destroyers, their hulls scarred from countless battles. The organic-looking vessels of the Near Collective, pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. And at the center, the massive Confederation flagship, Eternal Vigilance, a city-sized vessel that hadn't been deployed in over 50 cycles. "The Council isn't taking any chances," June observed, studying the fleet manifest. "They've assigned almost 15% of our combined naval strength to this mission." Tyke flicked through the crew assignments. Representatives from all 30 species on every command ship. Military observers, scientists, cultural experts. They want answers no matter what we find. In the science bay, 16 decks below, Science Officer Hana carefully calibrated her instruments. Her 6-fingered hands moved with practiced precision over the quantum scanners, adjusting settings that might help penetrate whatever defenses Earth possessed. Around her, a team of specialists from 12 different species worked on their assigned tasks, preparing for every conceivable scenario. "Try the subspace frequency modulators again," she instructed her assistant. "If the humans have somehow developed technology to hide in the gaps between dimensional planes, we might detect energy leakage." A soft alarm chimed, and a hollow screen materialized before her. "Admiral Tyke requests your presence in the war room, Chief Scientist," an automated voice announced. The war room was already filled with senior staff when Hana arrived. 3-dimensional projections of Earth rotated above the central table, with data streams flowing around them like digital rivers. "Our latest deep space scans reveal something interesting," Tyke said, gesturing to a particular data set. Brief energy signatures at the edge of the Sol system, appearing just before each expedition disappeared. Too regular to be natural phenomena. Hana studied the readings. Some kind of early warning system, but that doesn't explain how a pre-FTL civilization could defeat our ships. Unless they're not pre-FTL at all, suggested Weapons Master Du, his metallic voice resonating from the translator embedded in his chest. His species communicated through subsonic vibrations, incomprehensible to most other beings. Perhaps the classification is deliberately misleading. Tyke expanded the holographic model, highlighting Earth's moon. We've detected unusual structures on the far side of their natural satellite, possibly artificial, possibly ancient. Whatever these humans possess, Hana said, her voice firm with determination, we will finally uncover their secrets. As the meeting concluded, Tyke remained behind, studying the slowly rotating image of Earth. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land masses. It looked so harmless, so ordinary. What power could such a planet possibly wield that could vanquish 17 invasion forces without a trace? In 3 days, the greatest fleet ever assembled would jump to hyperspace. In 7, they would arrive at the Sol system, and then finally the galaxy would learn the truth about humanity. Whatever you are, Tyke whispered to the holographic, planet to whatever you have, we're coming. The coalition fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, a breathtaking sight as over 200 warships of varying designs and technologies simultaneously materialized against the backdrop of distant stars. Energy ripples cascaded across space as the fabric of reality settled after the massive translocation. From the command deck of the flagship Eternal Vigilance, Admiral Tech watched as the small blue planet came into view on the long-range scanners. Earth looked peaceful from this distance, oceans and continents clearly visible even from the outer rim of the system. Curious, Tyke muttered, his scaled fingers tapping thoughtfully against the armrest of his command chair. No defensive grid activation, no response fleet, nothing. Commander June stood beside him, mandibles twitching nervously. Perhaps they haven't detected us yet. A civilization that defeated 17 invasion forces. Tyke shook his head. Impossible. They know we're here. The massive viewscreen displayed the approaching system in stunning detail. The gas giants with their swirling storms and delicate rings, the asteroid belt teeming with resources, and there at the center, the yellow star they called Sol burning with nuclear fire. Deploy the stealth observation drones, Tyke ordered, his voice echoing across the command deck. Let's see these formidable defenses. Drone Officer Rin nodded, her 6-fingered hands dancing across the control interface. Deploying Scout Swarm Alpha through Delta, quantum stealth fields at maximum. The drones, each no larger than a human, launched silently from the flagship's belly, their hulls coated with light-absorbing materials. Advanced propulsion systems left no heat signature as they accelerated toward the inner system, their AI cores programmed to evade detection. First wave entering Mars orbit, Rin reported. No sign of interception. The tension on the bridge was palpable. Everyone had heard the stories, the theories about what might have happened to the previous expeditions. Some believed Earth was protected by ancient technology left by precursor civilizations. Others thought the humans had made pacts with interdimensional beings. Second wave passing lunar orbit, Rin continued. Still no response. Tyke's eyes narrowed suspiciously. Too easy. Science Officer Hana monitored the incoming data streams. Her brow furrowed. Atmospheric analysis confirms dominant nitrogen-oxygen mix, consistent with previous scans. Population centers concentrated on coastlines and river valleys. Estimated population, approximately 8 billion individuals. Energy signatures, Tyke asked. Consistent with fusion power in developed regions, fossil fuel combustion in others, nothing beyond Class 3 technological indicators. She paused, confusion evident in her voice. This doesn't make sense. Hours. Later, the command staff gathered around the data displays in confusion as the drones continued to transmit information. 3-dimensional holograms displayed Earth's orbital infrastructure in exhaustive detail. This can't be right, said Weapons Specialist Day, gesturing at the screen with one of his 4 arms. His exoskeleton clicked softly as he moved closer to the display. They have primitive satellites, a small space station, and rudimentary defense. Systems. Nothing that could threaten even our smallest vessels. The hologram showed a handful of crude space platforms orbiting Earth, fragile-looking structures with solar arrays extended like wings. No weapon emplacements were visible, no shield generators, no fleets of defenders waiting in strategic positions. Communications Officer Suk looked equally perplexed as she monitored the planet's broadcast transmissions. Her silver skin reflected the blue glow of her workstation. Their broadcasts suggest they're more concerned with entertainment programs and regional disputes than our approach. Many don't even seem aware of potential threats from space. She tapped to control, and fragments of Earth broadcasts filled the air, snippets of news reports about economic matters, territorial disputes, and cultural celebrations. Nowhere was their mention of an alien fleet positioned at the edge of their system. "Play that one again," Tyke ordered, pointing to a specific broadcast. A human newscaster appeared on screen, discussing what they called satellite malfunctions affecting communications in certain regions. Officials attribute the issues to solar flare activity and expect services to be restored within 48 hours. "They're lying to their own people," Strategic Officer Kwan observed. "They know something is happening, but are concealing it. Or," Hana suggested, "they genuinely don't know we're here." Fleet Security Director Pyo, a hulking figure whose species communicated through color shifts across their translucent skin, flashed patterns of deep red concern. This must be a trap. The previous fleets would not have been defeated by such a primitive civilization. Tyke studied the orbital scans again, looking for anything they might have missed. Hidden bases on the far side of the moon? Nothing. Cloaked defense platforms. The scanners detected no telltale energy signatures. Weapons satellites disguised as communications arrays. The structural analysis showed nothing capable of housing weapon systems. "We're missing something," he insisted. Drone Officer Rin suddenly straightened. "Admiral, we've lost contact with 3 drones in low Earth orbit." "Air attack?" Tyke demanded. "Unknown, no weapons discharge detected. They simply stopped transmitting." Tyke narrowed his compound eyes, the facets catching the light from the command displays. "Proceed with caution. Prepare capture teams. We'll take some of their satellites for examination before we advance further." He turned to address the assembled command staff. "This mystery deepens with every discovery. These humans defeated 17 invasion forces, with technology centuries behind our own. Either they possess weapons beyond our comprehension or what, Admiral?" June asked. Tyke's gaze returned to the view screen and the small blue planet that had swallowed so many would-be conquerors. "Or something else entirely awaits us," he said quietly. "Deploy the capture teams, but remember, we are here to learn, not to fall into the same trap as those who came before us." As the officers dispersed to carry out their orders, Tyke remained at the view screen, studying Earth with a mixture of fascination and dread. Somewhere on that seemingly peaceful world lay the answer to a mystery that had baffled the greatest minds of the Confederation for decades. And soon, they would find it, or join the 17 expeditions that never returned. The alert sirens blaring through the Coalition flagship caught everyone by surprise. The harsh wail echoed off the metallic walls of the command center, bathing the entire deck in pulsing red emergency light. Officers who had been calmly monitoring their stations moments before now scrambled to assess the unexpected threat. "Status report," Tyke demanded, rising from his command chair. His scales bristled along his neck ridge, a physiological response to danger his species had evolved millions of years ago. Tactical Officer Jin's fingers flew across his console, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly as he processed the incoming data streams. The holographic displays surrounding his station flashed with warning symbols and trajectory calculations. "Earth's defense systems have activated. They've detected us, but—" He paused, confusion evident in his voice. "Their response is unusually coordinated. No panic in their communications." Commander June moved to the central tactical display. "Show me." The 3-dimensional projection revealed dozens of small objects rising from Earth's surface, accelerating through the atmosphere at velocities that seemed impossible for such a primitive civilization. They weren't random launches, but a carefully orchestrated deployment pattern. "Trajectory analysis?" Tyke asked, his voice tight. "They're not targeting our main fleet," Jin replied, surprise evident in his tone. "They're positioning themselves in a defensive formation around their planet. Standard containment protocol." The view screen shifted to show a small group of human vessels approaching the massive alien armada. Their design was simple, almost crude, cylindrical bodies with chemical propulsion systems, minimal armoring, and what appeared to be rudimentary weapon emplacements. By any reasonable assessment, they posed no threat to even the smallest Confederation scout ship. "Those can't be their primary defense force," weapons specialist Day said with disbelief. "Their thrust-to-mass ratio is pitiful. Their armor wouldn't withstand even our low-yield weapons." Communications Officer Suk's station suddenly erupted with activity. Her silver fingers danced across the interface as she sorted through the incoming transmissions. "They're broadcasting greeting messages," she said, her melodic voice tinged with surprise, "in multiple formats and languages." "Languages?" Science Officer Hana moved to Suk's station. "How could they know our communication protocols?" "That's what's strange," Suk replied. "They're not just using standard Confederation formats. They're transmitting in Talon symbolic code, Nair biochemical patterns, even Untaru hive speak." A chill settled over the command deck as the implications became clear. "Those are all languages from previous invasion forces," June whispered. Tyke studied the approaching vessels, his compound eyes narrowing. "This confirms it. They've been studying us, learning from each encounter." On the view screen, the human ships continued their approach, maintaining perfect formation despite their seemingly primitive design. They made no aggressive moves, no attempt to target the coalition fleet. Fleet Security Director Pio flashed patterns of warning across his translucent skin. "This peaceful approach contradicts everything we know about human behavior. Our cultural databases indicate they're an aggressive territorial species." Tyke hesitated, weighing his options carefully. The Council had been clear. This was a reconnaissance mission, not an invasion. But 17 previous expeditions had vanished in this system. Caution was paramount. "This could be a deception," he finally declared. "Engage with a limited attack, wing to assess their capabilities. Target propulsion only. I want those ships disabled, not destroyed." Attack Coordinator. One nodded. "Deploying Squadrons 3 through 7, targeting parameters set to non-lethal engagement." On the view screen, 20 sleek Confederation fighters broke formation from the main fleet, their engines flaring bright against the darkness of space as they accelerated toward the human vessels. Each fighter was a masterpiece of engineering, combining technologies from a dozen different species into deadly weapons platforms that could outmaneuver anything known to Confederation science. "Weapons locked," one reported. "Engaging in 543 energy spike," Jin suddenly shouted. Massive power surge from the human vessels. What followed defied all expectations. The human vessels moved with impossible precision, their hulls suddenly shimmering as previously hidden systems activated. The crude exteriors seemed to melt away, revealing sleek, deadly craft underneath, wolves that had been wearing sheep's clothing. The Confederation fighters launched their first volley, energy weapons lancing through space, only to be absorbed by shields that should not exist on a pre-FTL world. The human vessels split apart with fluid grace, executing maneuvers that seemed to bend the laws of physics. "How are they doing that?" Day demanded, staring at his readings in disbelief. "Those acceleration curves would kill any biological pilot." The answer came moments later, as the human vessels deployed weapons that targeted specific vulnerabilities in alien shielding, vulnerabilities that were different for each species in the coalition. A Talon cruiser's shields failed under attacks. That exploited the exact frequency resonance that would collapse their defensive fields. A near vessel found its biomechanical systems suddenly unresponsive as targeted electromagnetic pulses disrupted their neural networks. "They know our weaknesses," June realized with horror. "All of them, every species." Within minutes, the carefully planned engagement had descended into chaos. Technologies that shouldn't exist on a pre-FTL world neutralized a quarter of the coalition fleet within hours. Confederation vessels found themselves disabled one after another, their systems failing in ways their designers had never anticipated. "Admiral," Jin called out, his voice strained. New contacts emerging from Earth's moon. The tactical display revealed dozens of larger vessels rising from concealed bases on the lunar surface. Massive, angular ships that bore no resemblance to the primitive stations they had observed in Earth orbit. All vessels fall back to defensive. Formation Delta, Tyke ordered. Prepare for— Sir, the humans are broadcasting again, Sook interrupted. They're offering to accept our surrender. A stunned silence fell over the command deck. They're not destroying our ships, Jin reported with horror as he studied the tactical data. They're capturing them. Tractor beams, boarding parties. They're taking crews alive and securing vessels intact. Tyke stared at the view screen, watching as the true might of humanity revealed itself. The primitive civilization they'd dismissed as no threat had systematically disabled the most powerful fleet ever assembled by the Confederation. How? He whispered. How could they have developed these technologies? How could they know our weaknesses so precisely? The answer, he realized with growing dread, must lie with those 17 missing expeditions, and soon they would learn exactly what had happened to their predecessors. Sir, Sook said quietly, they're requesting your presence on their command vessel to discuss terms. Take took a deep breath. Tell them I accept. Admiral Take and representatives from 7 species were escorted through a massive underground facility beneath Earth's surface. The human transport vessel that had brought them from orbit had descended through what appeared to be an ordinary mountain, revealing a hidden entrance large enough to accommodate ships 10 times its size. Their delegation, once proud military leaders, now moved as prisoners, though their human captors carried no visible weapons. Their human guide, Director Min, walked with casual confidence as she led them deeper into the complex. She was shorter than most of her security detail, with streaks of grey in her dark hair, suggesting advanced age by human standards. Yet she moved with the energy of someone half her apparent years. We've been expecting visitors like you for centuries, she explained, gesturing to the polished corridor walls that seemed to be made from a single piece of unknown material. You're not the first to underestimate us. Tyke's translator implant rendered her words perfectly, too perfectly. It should have struggled with an unknown language. How are you speaking to us? He asked, mandibles clicking with suspicion. Our translation systems shouldn't be compatible with your language, Min smiled. We recovered translation matrices from the Vordax scout ships 80 years ago. Your current systems are just minor variations on theirs. Fleet strategist Quan, whose bony ridge had begun to pale with stress, moved closer to Tyke. They know who attacked them previously, he whispered. They've been studying all of us. The corridor they walked through was lined with observation windows, revealing laboratories, where humans in white protective garments examined familiar-looking technology. In one chamber, scientists hovered around what appeared to be a Tylan power core, its distinctive crystal lattice structure pulsing with blue-green energy. In another, a disassembled near-navigation system had been spread across multiple workstations. Your defensive capabilities, said Science Officer Hana, her voice tight with professional curiosity despite their situation. They're based on technology from previous expeditions. Partly, Min replied. Though we've made significant improvements, the corridor began to slope downward, carrying them deeper beneath Earth's surface. The lighting changed to a softer blue glow that emanated from the walls themselves. Despite being underground, the air remained fresh, circulating through unseen ventilation systems. How deep are we going? Asked weapons specialist Day, his 4 arms twitching nervously. Just a few more kilometers, Min answered casually. Our primary research and storage facility is located beneath the continental plate for protection against orbital bombardment. The implications weren't lost on the delegation. Humans had been preparing for attacks from space long before they supposedly developed space travel themselves. After passing through a series of security checkpoints, each using technology that seemed suspiciously familiar to different members of the delegation, they entered a massive set of doors that slid open with a soft hiss of hydraulics. The corridor opened into an enormous chamber that stretched for kilometers in every direction, the ceiling so high it disappeared into shadow. Tyke felt his exoskeleton tremble at the sight. Arranged in meticulous order were the dismantled remains of 17 alien fleets. Each vessel had been carefully taken apart, studied and improved upon. To their left stood the distinctive organic curves of near hive ships, their living hulls now dormant, but preserved in some kind of stasis field. Beyond them, the crystalline structures of Talon light cruisers caught and refracted the overhead lighting into rainbow patterns. Further still, the massive silhouettes of Untaru dreadnoughts loomed like mountains on the horizon. "This is impossible," whispered Commander Jun. "The resources required to build a facility this size—" "We didn't build it all at once," Min explained. "We expanded as our collection grew." She led them along a walkway that offered panoramic views of the facility. Below them, thousands of humans worked in specialized areas, some operating machinery that was clearly of alien design, others conducting tests on materials and systems salvaged from the captured vessels. "We didn't develop advanced technology independently," Min explained, gesturing to the vast collection of ships. "Why would we, when the galaxy keeps delivering it to our doorstep?" Communications Officer Suk stared at a section containing communications equipment from a dozen different worlds. "You learned our languages from these ships, our encryption protocols, our cultural references." "Yes," Min nodded. "Your broadcasts have been quite educational as well." The walkway led to a central platform where a group of humans in formal attire waited. They wore no obvious military insignia, yet carried themselves with the unmistakable bearing of command. A human general named Sung approached the delegation. He was tall, with silver hair, and eyes that seemed to evaluate each alien with cool efficiency. "Welcome to Earth," he said simply. "I wish I could say your visit was unexpected." Tyke drew himself up to his full height. Despite being a prisoner, he was still High Admiral of the Confederation fleet. "You've captured our vessels against all galactic laws of engagement. You've—" "Laws of engagement?" Sung interrupted, his voice remaining calm but carrying an edge of steel. "You came to our system with a fleet designed to probe our defenses. The 17 expeditions before you came with the explicit intent to conquer or destroy our world." He gestured toward a nearby display, showing detailed analyses of previous invasion forces. "The Vordax came to harvest our oceans. The Kirill intended to use Earth as a hunting preserve. The Untaru would have converted our biosphere to support their hive colonies." General Sung stepped closer to the alien delegation. "Your species build what you need. We take what works and make it better. It's been our approach throughout our history. Absorb and improve the technologies of those who attempt to conquer us." Director Min activated a holographic display showing Earth's historical timeline. "Before we united as a planet, human nations did this to each other. When one civilization encountered another with superior technology, we didn't just copy it, we improved upon it. Steel weapons, gunpowder, flight, computing. We've always been quick studies." Tyke finally understood the terrible truth. Each invasion had only made humanity stronger. The Confederation hadn't been sending conquerors. They had been sending unwitting teachers, delivering their most advanced military technology directly into the hands of a species uniquely adapted to learn from it. "The ships you captured today," Tyke said slowly. "What will happen to my people?" General Sung's expression softened slightly. "Your crews will be treated well. Interviewed, yes. Studied, certainly, but not harmed. Once we've learned what we need to know, they'll join the others." "Others?" Tactical Officer Jin asked, his voice barely audible. Director Min nodded toward a distant section of the facility, where alien figures could be seen moving freely among humans. "Those who chose to stay, to teach, to learn. Not everyone who came here came by choice, but many have found reasons to remain." Tyke looked out over the vast chamber again, seeing it with new understanding. This wasn't just a museum of conquest or a trophy room. It was a library, humanity's library of borrowed knowledge that had transformed them from a primitive, isolated species into something the galaxy had never seen before. "Now," said General Sung, "let's discuss what happens next." "You're free to go," Director Min told the stunned alien representatives as they prepared to board their return vessel. The sleek shuttle waited on the launch platform, its hull gleaming under Earth sunlight. After 3 days in underground facilities, the brightness made Tyke's compound eyes ache. "I don't understand," he said, mandibles clicking in confusion. "You capture our ships, reveal your secrets, and now simply release us?" They stood on a hidden launch facility built into a mountain range. Behind them loomed massive hangar doors camouflaged to blend with the natural rock formation. Above the sky was clear blue, deceptively peaceful for a world that had repeatedly crushed the most powerful forces in the galaxy. "We could destroy you," Min replied matter-of-factly, "but we prefer you deliver a message." She gestured toward the distant horizon where snow-capped peaks stretched into the distance. "This planet has endured 17 unprovoked attacks. Each time we've grown stronger. We'd rather not continue this cycle." General Sung approached, flanked by 2 officers in simple gray uniforms. Unlike many species in the Confederation who adorned themselves with battle decorations and rank insignia, these humans wore only small emblems on their collars. Their power needed no announcement. "Our leadership council debated executing all of you," Sung said bluntly. "Some argued it was the safest option. Others wanted to keep you as permanent guests." Science Officer Hannah's 6-fingered hand instinctively moved to the neural implant at the base of her skull, the repository of her life's knowledge. "You would extract our information and discard us." That was discussed, Sung acknowledged without emotion, but ultimately rejected. He handed Tyke a data crystal, its surface inscribed with geometric patterns that shifted and changed as it caught the light. "This contains our terms for peaceful trade and cultural exchange. War serves neither of us." Tyke accepted the crystal cautiously. "The Confederation has never negotiated with pre-spacefaring civilizations." Min laughed, a sound that made several members of the alien delegation flinch. "I think we've established that your classification systems need updating." Before allowing them to board their shuttle, the humans insisted on one final tour. The aliens were escorted through what the humans called their Museum of Failed Invasions, a psychological demonstration that left even the most battle-hardened warriors shaken. Unlike the vast underground storage facility they'd seen previously, this museum was designed specifically to tell a story. Holographic displays recreated the 17 invasion attempts in stunning detail. The Vordak scout ships that first arrived 80 years ago, their cloaking technology failing against Earth's unexpectedly advanced detection systems. The Kirill, hunter vessels that followed, their pilots' final transmissions played in a continuous loop. Most disturbing were the interactive displays demonstrating how humans had reverse-engineered and improved upon alien technology. A simulation showed a standard Confederation shield generator, then revealed how humans had modified it to be 32% more energy efficient. Another display showed a Talon quantum torpedo alongside its human counterpart, smaller, faster, and with twice the explosive yield. "This isn't just a museum," whispered Tactical Officer Jin. "It's a warning." In the final chamber, they faced their own invasion. Holographic recreations of their fleet's arrival played on massive screens, followed by detailed analyses of how humans had countered their every move. The message was unmistakable. "We knew exactly what you would do before you did it." "I believe we understand each other now," General Sung said as they exited the museum. His face remained neutral, but his eyes carried a weight that transcended species barriers. "The crystal contains communication protocols. We expect a response within one standard cycle." The journey back to their shuttle passed in stunned silence. None of the alien delegates spoke until they had cleared Earth's atmosphere, accelerating toward the rendezvous point where a single Confederation cruiser, the only vessel humans had, released from capture, waited to take them home. As their ship departed Earth orbit, Science Officer Hana analyzed the data they'd gathered during their captivity. Her workstation projected technical schematics and energy readings that should have been impossible for her instruments to detect. "They allowed us to scan their facilities," she realized aloud. "They wanted us to see." "See what?" asked Commander. Junshi manipulated the display, highlighting specific energy signatures. "They've already reverse-engineered our most advanced systems," she reported quietly, "and they're building generation ships." The projection shifted to show massive vessels under construction in hidden lunar shipyards, enormous ships designed for long-distance travel, carrying thousands of colonists. They're preparing to leave their system, weapons specialist Day said, his four arms gesturing in agitation. To expand. Fleet strategist Quan studied the technical specifications with growing alarm. These ships incorporate technologies from at least 12 different species. Their propulsion systems are hybrids of Talon jump drives and near-fold engines. Their life support is based on Antaru biomechanical systems. How long? Tayek asked simply. Based on their current construction rate? Hana calculated quickly. 5 years, perhaps less. Admiral Tyke gazed at the blue planet receding behind them, growing smaller in the view screen with each passing moment. The implications were clear. Humanity wasn't just unconquerable. It was using each attack as an easy catalyst for expansion. The Confederation faced a choice between accepting humans as partners or confronting a civilization that had been forged through centuries of defending against the best weapons the galaxy could create. In the ship's communication center, communications, Officer Suk analyzed the data crystal's contents. The trade terms are surprisingly reasonable, she reported. They're offering technological exchange, cultural ambassadors, even military alliances against common threats. And if we refuse? Asked June. Suk manipulated the crystal, revealing a secondary data packet. Her silver skin paled visibly. This contains detailed schematics of the Confederation homeworld's defensive systems, with annotations highlighting exploitable weaknesses. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. They could have kept us, Tactical Officer Jin said finally. They could have destroyed the entire fleet. Instead, they chose this message. Taik moved to the view screen, watching as Earth disappeared from view, becoming just another distant point of light among countless stars. From this distance, it looked harmless, a deception that had cost 17 invasion forces everything. Set course for home, Taik ordered, his voice heavy with the burden of what they had learned. The Council must hear what we've learned before it's too late. As the ship's engines powered up for the jump to hyperspace, he added quietly, "The galaxy is about to change forever." The cruiser vanished in a flash of light, carrying the most important diplomatic message in Confederation history. Not a declaration of victory, but a warning from a species that had turned every attack against them into an opportunity to grow stronger. On Earth, Director Min and General Sung watched the energy flare of the departing ship on their monitors. "Do you think they'll choose peace?" Min asked. Sung's weathered face revealed nothing of his thoughts. "For their sake, I hope so." Behind them, in shipyards hidden beneath lunar regolith, the first human-generation ships neared completion. Either as peaceful explorers or unstoppable conquerors, humanity was coming to the stars. The end.